And only one power in that region could intervene to save the United States from defeat, and that is Israel. And that would be the bell being rung. That this is the passage of power now from Pax Americana to Pax Judaica. This is the Islamic eschatological dimension to the analysis that a day which is like a month will now be coming to an end, and a day which is like a week, according to the hadith, will now be beginning. The Protestant version of Islam, which is the Salafi version, insists that somewhere on earth, we just have to search, maybe somewhere behind Greenland, you're going to find a place on earth where a day will be like a year. So my answer is, well, keep on searching. Keep on searching. And I'm not speaking scornfully, that's not my way. I am not speaking in any derogative way, disrespectful way. That is not my style. No. I have the right to say, however, this is your methodology, so keep on searching. We have interpreted the text differently. This is our interpretation. And we have insisted time and again that no one should accept our interpretation unless and until you are convinced that it is correct. We said a day like a year is a different dimension of space and time than the one in which we live. So too a day like a month, and so too a day like a week. But Dajjal is here on earth, but you can't see him. Only when a day which is like a week comes to an end, after Israel has ruled the world for a day which is like a week, only then would Dajjal appear in our world as a human being, as a young man, powerfully built, curly hair and so on, to rule the world from Jerusalem. And so our Islamic eschatological analysis is that the United States is being led with a controlled demolition of the US dollar, not happening by accident. A controlled demolition of the US economy is not happening by accident. And a trap being set for the United States militarily, so that the United States will can no longer be recognized as the ruling state in the world, and Israel can replace them. I want to end now by turning to two actors, and we thank Allah that He created both Gog and Magog. If He had created Gog alone, we would have been in a lot of trouble now. But He created both Gog and Magog. And He gave both the Gog and Magog the power that none can fight them except Allah Himself. So if Gog and Magog turn against each other, they'll destroy each other, wouldn't they? If you do not understand the subject, I have a book at the back entitled An Islamic View of Gog and Magog in the Modern World. And again, as usual, the Salafis are rejecting that book. Imran Hussein is misguided. I think that for Russia and for China, an Israeli attack on Iran, particularly if it involves the use of nuclear weapons, would be recognized as a threshold being crossed that so long as you did not cross that threshold, Russia and China were prepared to go along and continue. In the Security Council of the United Nations, for example, cooperating and collaborating where possible in managing the affairs of the world. But once you cross that threshold, the implication for Russia and China is that you have crossed the point of no return. And that an attack on Iran is now going to inevitably lead to world war. That after Iran and after Pakistan and after the Arabs, the Zionists are going to turn on China and Russia to make sure that China and Russia also bend down their knees and accept Israel, so that Israel can become the ruling state in the world. No Jew is going to accept Dajjal as the Messiah if Israel has not established its dominion over the whole world. No Jew will accept Dajjal as the Messiah when he comes if Israel at that time has not established its political and economic dominion over the world. And that includes Russia and China. And so Russia and China would know, today it's them, tomorrow it's us. And they're not going to wait until tomorrow to recognize that. The minute Iran is attacked, they will recognize that the threshold has been crossed and that we are now moving inevitably towards nuclear war. Russia and China acted strangely on Libya. You remember? When the vote came to the Security Council, they abstained, knowing full well that if they abstain, the resolution will be carried, and that is the end of Gaddafi and end of the Libyan government. Why did they do that? I have asked the question. I have an answer, but I can be wrong. I felt that perhaps they knew what the plan was, and they wanted to let the Western world, NATO, to sink deeper and deeper into a quagmire, you know, like shifting sands, you can't get up. So eventually they will end up in the graveyard, and only then will Russia and China attack them. How are Russia and China responding to Syria at the moment? How will Russia and China respond to an attack on Iran and on Pakistan? My understanding is that Russia and China are going to be quite different in the way they have behaved so far in international affairs. Quite different once the attack on Iran takes place. And so we will be heading ultimately towards world war. A world war which the Quran has anticipated when Allah spoke about Gog and Magog, and when he said in Surah Al-Kahf, وَتَرَكْنَا بَعْدَهُمْ يَوْمَئِذٍ يَمُوجُ فِي بَعْضٍ, which can mean, one of the possible meanings is that on that day Gog and Magog are going to clash with each other. If Gog and Magog clash with each other in nuclear war, with thousands of nuclear weapons being used, what will be the consequence for the world? Let me end with Surah Al-Isra, the ayah or the verse of Surah Al-Isra, in which Allah says, بعد أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم وإن من قرية إلا نحن مهلكوها قبل يوم القيامة أو معذبوها عذابا شديدا كان ذلك في الكتاب مسطورا. And not a single town or city will escape. They'll all be destroyed. And those which escape destruction will be punished with terrible punishment. And all of this is inscribed in the book. This brings an end to our preliminary analysis of the implications of an Israeli attack on Iran. We have certainly not exhausted the subject, and it is likely that we'll have to come back to the subject in a second and a third lecture. But I do believe that we have done sufficiently tonight to provoke you now to think on the subject, and I'll be very happy to hear your views and your responses. ربنا تقبل منا إنك أنت السميع العليم وتب علينا يا مولانا إنك أنت التواب الرحيم برحمتك يا أرحم الراحمين آمين. The question is, how do I view the response of the Pakistan Armed Forces now when the curtain is about to be drawn and NATO has already sent, by Federal Express they sent a message to Pakistan, we're coming for you now. That's the message when they kill the soldiers, huh? We're coming for you now. And now, now the Pakistan Armed Forces, because now of course it's too late to do anything else, they say, okay, we will not allow NATO to transit Pakistan. And we're going to take back this base that we gave you so you could kill the people in Afghanistan. And you have 15 days to vacate the base. No, I'm not impressed. I'm not impressed. I think a lot of the generals have tickets to Miami because they know that they're going to be lynched. I hope they're listening to me, because the Pakistani people love Islam, and the Pakistani people are very, very angry with those who have betrayed them and betrayed Pakistan and betrayed the Ummah, flying first class to Washington anytime Washington calls them for consultation. So I'm not impressed at all. People who have betrayed Allah and His Messenger, and now at the last moment, now you're trying to save face. I'm not impressed. But the overwhelming majority of the soldiers in the Pakistan Armed Forces love Islam, and they're going to fight as faithful and courageous Muslims. That I have no doubt about. It is the command which stinks. It is the command, the political and military command, that I call Zionists. And they're on their way out as soon as Pakistan is attacked. They're finished. They're going to fly to Miami and leave Pakistan to the true Pakistanis. So I'm not impressed. The Muslims in India, of course, are going to be in a much worse situation once Pakistan is attacked. The Muslims in Bangladesh are going to be in a worse situation because of the attack on their morale. They will be demoralized. And it is a function of Islamic scholars to deliver guidance and leadership. And the scholars of Islam are fighting each other over popcorn. Fighting with each other over popcorn. And attacking me because I declare myself to be a Muslim. Who? He's only a Muslim? He's neither fish nor fowl? Who is he? He has no Aqidah? That's now the attack on me. Yeah. Well, let them continue with the attacks. Go ahead.